Hello, Canucks fans. Welcome back to another episode of Canucks Conversation, brought to you by Bet365. We're coming to you from the Pacific Toyota Dealer Studios. Visit shoptoyota.ca or visit your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. My name is Dave Wujelli. I am joined by Harman Dial. Some glumness in the chat today. I don't get it, man. Sun shining, Family Feud. I know the Canucks are banged up, but I'm fired up today. I've got good energy. I'm feeling happy today.
Blue Jays won last night too.
Blue Jays won last night too. Trey Savage, performance of a lifetime. And I got to clarify this, and I got to do it again because I had people last night, I tweeted out, what a performance by Trey Savage. You're witnessing history. And I watch a lot of baseball, and seeing a start like that, seeing a guy just dominate like that is remarkable. And when you see something like that, you acknowledge it. And people are like, oh, don't hop on the bandwagon now. It's like, I've watched more Jays games than all of you. Like that. Let's just get that clear. First of all, I was telling everybody about Trey Savage when he was with the Vancouver Canadians. They didn't know who Trey Savage was until a month ago. Anyways,
see, I knew because you told me.
That's right. Perks of being friends with me. There's a few of them. Tomorrow's Halloween as well. We'll be back in studio. Someone in the chat asked if Sekeres and Price kicked us out of the studio downtown. They did not. They're actually very accommodating. We share that studio. It's just that Harman and I, with our schedules, we like to do our show from home, and we've got nice home studios to set the show up so that we can do remote shows. But I think that'll be our thing. Every Halloween, like we're doing it tomorrow, we're going in studio. We're wearing costumes. It'll be a good time tomorrow in studio. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't really want to just talk about the Blue Jays. We'll talk about it and anyone else. I'm sure it'll come up. But we've got some Canucks lineup notes to get to. So let's do that. Canucks in St. Louis tonight. Our opening segment is brought to you by our friends at Greta, a great spot for all games, home and away. You can skip the line and not have to pay cover on game nights if you're wearing Canucks gear. And of course, there's also the game day specials at Greta, including $3.33 off select food items, $3.33 on select drinks, and more. With the arcade, bar, and street food menu, make Greta your spot to watch the big game. All right, Canucks in St. Louis tonight, 5 o'clock start. Like I said, Kevin Lankinen gets the start in goal. We were wondering, when were we going to see Kevin Lankinen? Were we going to see him at all on this road trip? Answer is yes, we're going to see him tonight in St. Louis. Before we get to the lineup, your thoughts on that decision, Harm?
Well, I wanted to see him play at least one game on this road trip because we know if you're trying to maximize your success this year, you need to keep Thatcher Demko's workload manageable so that he can stay healthy and keep performing at the level that he has been. I think rolling Demko out for 3 straight games on that road trip would have been a mistake. So to see the Canucks also just show Lankinen some confidence, right? I think as a goaltender, you want to know that if I have one bad start, a couple nights where I'm not at my best, that the team still has my back. Because again, I think through his first 3 starts, you could say that the environment in front of him defensively wasn't very good. It was really the loss against Montreal where that was the first time I went, he needs to be significantly better. As a coaching staff, you don't want to have one mediocre start, have a situation where it's one bad start, and now all of a sudden you're hesitant about rolling him out there, because that's going to play into a goaltender's mind as well. Not to mention, you invested $4.5 million of cap space into this guy, right? It would be an indictment on that investment if 3 weeks into the season, you're saying we can't trust Kevin Lankinen. So I absolutely think this was the right decision. And now the onus is on him to hopefully bounce back and give the team a chance to win.
100% agree. And that's a part of it that wasn't discussed about a lot, Harm, is the rocking a goaltender's confidence and then still putting him out there on back-to-backs. But it's like, okay, we know we're going to lose tonight, but you get the start. That's not a good thing for a goaltender to be thinking about. So, and again, that's something we've seen in the past in this market with Thatcher Demko's backup. So I 100% agree with you. He needed to start on this one. And also an interesting, I don't know. I don't think they thought about it this far, but I think it's a great idea to start Kevin Lankinen against St. Louis. Really good rush team. You're expecting a lot of east-west movement. That's a lot of strain on Thatcher Demko if he's the one backstopping this team. Not that they've been stellar in front of him or anything, but St. Louis, they love to create off the rush. They love to go east-west as well. Might be a good night for Thatcher Demko to take a night off when you look at the style of this team. And then you presume that Demko starts both Minnesota and Nashville, and then they're back home against Chicago. Lankinen's next start would either be Saturday the 8th of November or the 9th against Colorado back at home. So we'll see how they map it out, but I like this one being a Lankinen start, just from a stylistic perspective of what St. Louis is going to do.
And to put it into context, Lankinen's performance, his raw save percentage doesn't look the best, but if you pull up Evolving Hockey's goals saved above expected model, which takes into account the quality of the shots and chances that a goaltender has faced through 4 games, Lankinen is at minus 1.3 goals saved above expected. So essentially that's saying he's given up about 1 extra goal than you'd expect from a league average goaltender based on the shots that he's faced through 4 games, which essentially means he's been slightly below average, which Lankinen has more to give. He can be sharper, but we're not talking about a goaltender that's near the bottom of the league in this category. And the goaltending matchup is also going to be really interesting because on the other end, you have a Blues team that has had atrocious net minding, and I would argue that that's probably the biggest reason why they've only won 3 games so far this season themselves.
Yep, 100% agree with you, man. 100% agree. Okay, Jordan Binnington goes for the Blues tonight. You were hoping for Husso, obviously, with how much he struggled, but Binnington hasn't been stellar by any means either. So, Binnington, Lankinen tonight. Did you have anything else you want to say about the game?
Yeah, well, it's just you look at the bottom 5 goaltenders in the league by goals saved above expected. Joel Hofer is second worst right now behind Linus Ullmark in Ottawa, and then Binnington is 4th to last as well. So both Blues goaltenders are bottom 4 in the NHL in terms of their performance so far, and it tracks.
I just called him Ville Husso. I don't know if you caught that.
Okay,
I'm just making sure you also caught that, because as soon as you said Joel Hofer, I'm like, wait a second, I didn't say Joel Hofer, even though I know it's Joel Hofer. Go on, sorry.
And so that's why it's interesting where you look at the Blues underlying numbers, and they've actually been pretty decent at controlling play, especially shot quality, but they're just leaking goals left and right. Their 5-on-5 save percentage right now is .856. That's not just last, that's last by a freaking country mile. And that's good news.
Sorry, who's second to last? Do you have it?
I can pull it up. I don't have it off the top of my head, but
because I know it's a wide margin. I'm just so curious what the actual margin is.
I'll pull it up right now. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs at 872. But look at that difference, right? 856 versus 872.
Yeah.
That's still a massive difference. And the Canucks, for reference, are 3rd in the league, 933, behind only Washington and Seattle. So for a team that probably isn't going to manufacture a lot of high quality chances because of the number of injuries that they have, no Philip Hedl, no Quinn Hughes, no Connor Garland, no Nils Höglander, Lecker Mackey, on and on. You're hoping to get a couple of bounces, a couple of long distance shots that maybe squeaking, even just one soft goal can make a massive difference, especially if you get it early, because if you get an early goal, you get an early lead. Now, all of a sudden, if you're the Canucks, you don't have to press as much offensively, and you can, I don't want to say park the bus because you don't want to completely take your foot off the gas, but you can then focus on, let's play a structured defensive game and shut the Blues down. And now you're forcing the Blues to take more risks where they could potentially turn pucks over, compared to the other way around, where if you're the Canucks and you're trailing in a game, you already don't have the offensive horses. Now you're asking some of these guys to be extra aggressive about how you're joining in the rush, about how aggressively you're pinching. And that that then puts Lankinen in a tougher spot because you're giving a Blues team that's, pretty dynamic and fun off the rush extra opportunities to create.
Where did it go? Cali Canuck. The fact that Binnington might be Team Canada's number 3 goalie. Oh no, sorry, it was a typo. He said number 1. I was gonna say, I'm like, if you think Binnington's number 3, I got some news for you. So, anyways, we'll skip past that. Lineups. I forgot to get to the line changes up front again. Connor Garland out. We've got some injury updates that we're gonna get to in just a second here. But as we look at the Canucks line combinations for tonight, it's expected. This is courtesy of Dan Murphy. It's expected that Kiefer Sherwood's gonna skate with Lucas Reichel and Evander Kane on that second line. The really interesting thing, at least it's interesting to me, is Brock Besser, Jake DeBrusk back on that top line with Elias Pettersson. I don't know, man. I would have liked to see Sherwood go up there. Your thoughts?
Maybe. It's just tough because no matter how you construct the lines, the one thing about the players that are injured right now, it's not just that they're top drivers, it's that they're playmakers. They're guys that set others up and make it easier for them to produce. Connor Garland is so important when it comes to transporting pucks up the ice, to winning battles down low, and he is ultimately a pass first player. He, like we saw on Elias Pettersson's first goal of the season, it was Garland winning the puck back and then Garland feeding Pettersson in the slot. Quinn Hughes, we know that he's one of the best playmakers in the NHL, period. He's not in your lineup. Philip Hedl, off of zone entries, using his speed to put defenders on the heels. Hedl is more of a shot first player, but I think we saw early on in the year that he was able to show a little bit better east-west playmaking creativity. And even not just from a passing perspective, you look at Tyler Myers' goal against the Washington Capitals, for example, it was Hedl bulldozing his way to the net for a grade A chance, and then it's Myers pouncing on the rebound for the goal. That Myers goal doesn't happen if it isn't for Hedl's ability to create the initial chance. And so when I look at the second line, for example, Kane, Reichel, Sherwood, it's not that those guys are bad players by any means. It's that they're all mostly shot first guys. Evander Kane is a volume shooter. Kiefer Sherwood is a volume shooter. Lucas Reichel, we've seen him dazzle on some entries and create some chances for himself, but he's not the most gifted playmaker. He's not setting the table for others. And so when you look at that second line on paper, I'm curious to see what kind of chemistry they're able to build, because sure, I can see a scenario where, because of how fast Reichel is and because of how impactful Sherwood has been this year as a whole, that all right, you could get some sparks, but I could also see a scenario where, because you don't have a playmaker on that line, that they struggle. And same thing with that top line, where let's see if Elias Pettersson can continue driving play like a 1C now that he doesn't have Connor Garland on his line. Because we saw early in the year when DeBrusk, Pettersson, and Besser were together as a trio, that line, A, they don't win pucks back on the forecheck because DeBrusk and Besser aren't quick enough. And then B, Pettersson didn't have the dynamic step back as a neutral zone puck transporter to create controlled entries, which meant that if you're not able to make plays at speed off the rush and you're not winning pucks back on the forecheck, you're just not going to have a lot of possession and sustained attacking zone time as a line. So even among the top six, where you have some more established players, it just isn't the smoothest, I think, stylistic fit in terms of complementary skill sets right now.
Mackenzie McEachern's in the lineup. 1 out of 5, baby. 1 out of 5. I'm going to get this one right, too. Mackenzie McEachern skating on a line with Aatu Ratu, Drew O'Connor, and then that Abbey line, Arshdeep Baines, Max Sasson, Linus Karlsson rounding out the Canucks' bottom 6 tonight. All right, ready to do the feud?
Only other thing we should note is, talked a lot about the Canucks injuries. Canucks are catching a bit of a break where Robert Thomas is expected to be out of lineup. We know how much Robert Thomas means to this Blues team. He's their best forward, their 1C, their play driving engine, really, and not just so talented offensively, but I think really underrated defensively, especially when the Blues last year were one of the hottest teams in the NHL. Robert Thomas was, I think, down the stretch, a top 5 player in the league in terms of points, while also playing excellent defensively. So he's expected to not be in the lineup. No Jake Neighbors as well, another impactful top 9 forward for them. They've called up Dalibor Dvorsky. We'll see if he makes he draws into the lineup. Dvorsky, I believe, was taken 10th overall, right before Tom Verlander.
No, he's played 2 games last year. Okay.
Yeah, so either way, Dvorsky is going to be interesting because he either, as a high pedigree prospect, he's going to be up to the task and he'll be a difference maker, or because he's only played a couple of games and is still pretty young and raw, that might be an opportunity for the Canucks to win some of those matchups.
Also, I need to mention on defense, you brought up Willander, which made me think of it. Willander not skating with P.O. Joseph tonight. He's skating with Marcus Pettersson at line rushes. It's going to be DPD with Philip Hronek on the top pair, Marcus Pettersson with Tom Willander, and then P.O. Joseph with Tyler Myers. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. They're going to roll all 3 of those defense pairs. Like, that's going to be pretty... Philip Hronek's going to play a lot, but that's an interesting defense core for tonight.
Yeah, I honestly don't even put a ton of stock anymore into what D pairs they
do at
take.
rushes, yeah.
They do at rushes, because throughout the game you see a million different combinations.
How did Hronek get to 34 minutes tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Hronek's he's going to play with multiple guys throughout the throughout the lineup in a ton of different scenarios. So it's just going to require adaptability on the part of the veterans. I think Hronek has shown that knack over the last 2 or 3 games that Hughes hasn't been in the lineup. And for Marcus Pettersson as well, he didn't eat up as monstrous of a workload last game. I want to double check what his minutes were against the Rangers, but especially when you don't have last change, you need him to, like 1945 against the Rangers, under 20 minutes, which was a bit of a surprise. But you're going to need him to sort of be as reliable as possible defensively, and make sure that regardless of who he's out on the ice with, that he's able to make a 2-way impact.
All right, I need to read this comment. It's from Pickle Rick. This is not the time. He said, Baines needs to go. He's horrible. I don't know how you can have a problem with Archie Baines after this stretch of games and how banged up this team is. And then Jacob responded and said, they don't really have any options right now. And Pickle Rick, who we appreciate, thank you for watching the show, said, you can replace Baines with anybody in the AHL. Which brings me to something I wanted to bring up. The Abbotsford Canucks have lost 6 straight games. They're signing guys out of the ECHL. That team has nobody right now. Like, go look at the Abbotsford Canucks lineup. You're either, if you're saying you don't want Baines, then you want Nils Amon or you want Vitaly Kravtsov. And hey, if you want that or you want Joe Labate, then fine, that's your take. But like, you need to understand, Archie Baines has been playing better than what those guys are going to give you. Like, Mackenzie McEachern's in the lineup tonight,
and he hasn't materially hurt the team in any way.
He's not.
Look at the Canucks results. Look at the Canucks results in his 5-on-5 minutes. They have 52% of shot attempts. They're up 3-2 in goals, and that's the point, right? Is all right, if you're not going to necessarily drive a lot of offense, make sure that as a fourth line you don't get scored on. He's only been on the ice for 2 5-on-5 goals against the entire year. So yeah, him. You look at Sasson, you look at Linus Karlsson, those kinds of guys. There is no expecting more out of them. Sure, would it be a sweet bonus if they chipped in with the odd goal here or there? Sure. But the fact that they're not hurting you from a defensive standpoint and actually have shifts where they spend time in the attacking zone, that's really what all you can realistically hope for out of fourth line. It's on your established guys that are making bigger salaries to make an impact, and not even just the top guys, but a Drew O'Connor, who we both agreed on yesterday's show has looked a lot better the last few games. Now it's all right, you're driving play a little bit, but you're paid $2.5 million. Let's see a bottom line in terms of the offensive production. You got to score a goal. It's on those guys, not the guys that came up from last year's Abbey team.
Let's get to feud. Jacob, take it away.
Wow, it really got us all mixed up today with the cameras. There we go. Now we're all sorted out. Hello, my name's Jacob Lazar. It's time for another edition of Canucks Conversation, Family Feud. I told the guys before the show today that I think their winning streak will come to an end. And that's not me trying to be mean about it. It's just the reality of the data this week. Not a lot of big number one answers. So you guys will have to be sharp. You had a generational performance last week. You're going to need to follow it up with another one. For those of you that are new, Harman's going to go first. He'll have 25 seconds on the clock. His time will begin when I finish reading the first question. If you can't think of a response, he will say pass. We'll come back to it at the end. Quads, you can take those AirPods out. Yep. You can disconnect them, listen to your music, whatever you got to do. Harman, are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Once again, reminding you, your time will begin when I finish reading this first question. I also just want to make sure Quads is ready to go. I see him connecting those AirPods to his phone. All right, I think we're good to go. If you could swap the entire Canucks staff, which is roster or staff and roster, so players, contracts, cap hits, GM, head coach, everything, with another NHL team, which team would you choose?
Florida Panthers.
Name a good Canucks goalie that isn't in the Ring of Honor or that's on the team currently.
Corey Schneider.
Pick a number between 1 and 5.
3.
Who is the scariest Canuck of all time?
Gino Ojic.
Besides the Canucks, name a pro sports team that is cursed.
Buffalo Sabres.
All right. Good work. You can flag Quads down.
I don't think he can see me.
No, he's not looking up. There we go.
That actually wasn't as bad as I expected.
You also did very well.
How'd it go?
I think we have a shot. That really? Actually wasn't as hard as I thought.
So nice. Harman got you 103 points. So 130? Over halfway there. 103. 103. Okay. 103.
Good.
Yeah. If you got 130, I would have been like off the walls in shock because that would have not even been possible. Anyways, yeah, Harman did well. Set you guys up. Quads will have 30 seconds on the clock. His time will begin when I finish reading the first question. Lengthy one, so be prepared and make sure you listen attentively. Quads, if you give one of Harm's answers, you will hear the buzzer, and I will ask you to try again. Buzzer didn't work. There we go. And I will ask you to try again. All right, Quads, you ready to go?
You bet.
If you could swap the entire Canucks staff and roster, players, contracts, cap hits, coaches, GM, everything. If you could swap all of that with another NHL team, which team would you choose?
Florida.
Try again.
Edmonton.
Name a good Canucks goalie that isn't in the Ring of Honor or currently on the team.
Corey Schneider.
Try again.
Pass.
Pick a number between 1 and 5.
What? 3.
Try again.
4.
Who is the scariest Canuck of all time?
Ojic.
Try again.
Rippin.
Besides the Canucks, name a pro sports team that is cursed.
Mariners.
I'll let you go back and re-answer. Name a good Canucks goalie that isn't in the Ring of Honor or currently on the team. I'll give you 5 seconds.
Richard Brodeur.
Richard Brodeur. We will accept it. Quads, I'm glad you said the Mariners for that last one. That question was specifically written for you. So
okay, what is pick a number between 1 and 5? Have you just run out of questions?
Yes, that is 100% it. I needed
a number between 1 and 5.
Pick a number between. I needed something with a pretty even point distribution, and that's exactly what I got.
That's crazy. What are we doing? Folks, get your questions. When you fill out the survey, there's a part at the end. Please write some questions because clearly Jacob's at his wit's end.
And I need to say, a lot of people have been putting the same questions in. I can't use something that has one answer. A bunch of people are putting trivia questions like, oh, yeah, name the only Canuck who did this thing. I'm like, well, we can't do that.
Not how the
because
game works.
That's not how the game works. It's a great trivia question. I can put it aside for if we want to do some other trivia stuff, which we do on the Canucks Army YouTube channel occasionally. So a lot of those I will get to at some point, but not for feud. All right,
should not
let's
have
go
said
through this.
Rippin for scariest Canuck. Great fighter, pound for pound, best fighter in my opinion. Not scary.
I was hoping
there's good options. It rattled me that I got buzzed.
Yeah, well, you got buzzed on everything other than the last question, which I'm kind of surprised Harmon didn't
even
say
pick
the
a number
Mariners,
between
but...
1 and 5. We picked the same number. Okay.
All right.
Anyway,
so if you could swap the entire Canucks staff and roster, you guys both said Florida. Florida was the number 2 answer. Quads, you pivoted to Edmonton. Edmonton's not in the top 5. So I'm gonna have.
I was gonna say I didn't like.
Anyways, go on.
Montreal probably finished pretty high.
Only
right?
2 points for Edmonton. Montreal was the number 1 answer. 30
Really,
points.
Montreal more than Florida?
Well, the team that's going to the Cup final every year, we're like, no thanks. We'll take the rebuild. That still we don't know.
I was really hoping you were gonna say Montreal. When you said Edmonton, I was like, I don't think that's gonna get along.
And when you look at a lot of these top answers, like you have a couple of those teams that are in their contending window because Vegas was up there, Colorado was up there, but Utah was the number 3 answer. And again, team like Montreal, lots of good young talent, locked up on good contracts, but still haven't actually proved it yet.
What was Montreal worth?
30 points.
Okay, next.
Name a Canucks goalie that isn't in the Ring of Honor or currently on the team. A couple people were like, oh, well, I wouldn't pick anyone else for the Ring of Honor. Not what I asked, but you guys both said Corey Schneider first. He was only the number 3 answer. Richard Brodeur, Quad's the number 5 answer, only worth 7 points.
Are people dumb? Who's filling this out? Okay, let's go. Give us the top one.
We got the recency bias. Jacob Markstrom was the number 1 answer.
Yeah,
that's Ryan Miller was the number 2 answer.
Those are valid responses.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. I would have.
Richard Brodeur is a great answer.
Final. Yeah. What are we talking about? You're gonna put Ryan Miller in the Ring of Honor?
No. That's not what the question was. It was just name a good goalie who isn't in the Ring of Honor. I just didn't want everyone saying Luongo and Kirk McLean, and I didn't want everyone saying Thatcher Demko. Like, start talking about some other good goalies the Canucks have had that aren't Thatcher Demko, Roberto Luongo, or Kirk McLean. All right, next. You just didn't listen to the question, did you?
Not quite. No, I missed it. Right after going, are people dumb? It's me. I'm people.
Pick a number between 1 and 5. You guys both said 3.
Number 1. Come on. That's got to be the number 1 answer.
Come on. It's in the middle.
Oh, I actually just realized something. When I was putting Harmon's scores in, I actually misentered this. Harmon had 127 points.
Oh,
nice.
Damn.
Okay.
Now, Quads, you're at 9 through 2 rounds. So,
all right. But 3 got us a lot. And
3 got Harm 27 points. 4 was actually the number 1 answer with 28 points. There you go, Quads.
Oh, okay.
You only need 36 in the last 2 rounds. Let's see if we can get there. Scariest Canuck of all time. We wanted a couple Halloween-themed questions here with the scary and the curses. Gino Ojic, number 1 answer. That's pretty obvious one. He was a scary dude all around. Donald Brashear was the number 2 answer.
I was hoping
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Todd Bertuzzi was the number 3 answer.
Also a good one. Should have said it.
Rafi Torres, Tiger Williams, Rick Rippon did get a few votes. I remember seeing his name in there. But as I do my little search function here, only 2 points.
Was there any
3 points for Rick Rippon?
Was there any like Lucas Spiza or like Derek Pouliot?
There was a hold on, where was it? There it is. There's the Noah Juleson.
Nice. Love it. All right.
I guess Rick Tocchet is submitting responses.
Yeah. All right, Quads, you need 33 points from this.
Come on, baby.
Besides the Canucks, name a pro sports team that is cursed.
Come on. That's got to be it.
Buffalo Sabres.
Good one.
30 points for the Sabres.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you if that's the number 1 answer or not.
Yep. The Mariners are the number 1 answer. Come on, baby.
I will tell you right now. Sabres and Mariners are 1 and 2.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
we win.
The Mariners are number 2. You guys are going to fall just short.
Damn. That was
Mariners
close.
worth 21 points.
Loss. We brought our best.
Got to 188.
I don't know if you brought your best.
Yeah, I will say for those that like to keep score, Harmon had 127 points. Quads had 61.
I got
it's harder to go.
Yeah, it is harder to go second.
But Edmonton was not it.
No.
They've been in the cup final.
Yeah, but they're old. They're old. And you gotta know these are Canucks fans, right?
Yeah.
Do you think they're gonna immediately want to swap with their biggest rival?
Yeah. Whatever.
I'll go through some other common answers for the cursed sports teams. Buffalo Bills, Toronto Maple Leafs were number 3. A couple people said the Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox have won 4 World Series in the last 16 years. That's not cursed at all. I guess they used to be, but not anymore. And some love for the New York teams as well. The Jets, the Mets, the Knicks, all in there. So tough one. You guys finally lost, but it was a competitive loss. Only 12 points off. We'll take those.
Competitive loss. I like that. All right, let's get to anyone
victory.
else, which is a presentation of Pacific Toyota Dealers and the Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid, a no-compromise approach to electric vehicles that offers the best of both worlds. Drive up to 72 kilometers on the battery alone, then seamlessly transition from electric mode to the gas engine for a combined range of 962 kilometers. There's no sacrifices when it comes to horsepower or style with its sleek, low, and wide exterior and sophisticated interior. It's loaded with tech that's actually easy to use. Plug in to recharge at home or at one of the over 2,000 public charging stations in BC alone. And now you can lease a 2025 Prius plug-in hybrid SE from $99 weekly at 3.49% APR for 64 months with $3,600 down, and it includes a $3,000 discount. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. All right. Yeah. All right. I wanted to get to this right off the top. Marty Necas signs an extension, 8 years, $11.5 million per season. Again, 8 years. Every 8-year contract we see from here on out is going to be one of the last ones we see for at least for a while, because with the new CBA, obviously the term limit for contracts is going to be reduced to 7 years when the new CBA begins in 2026 on July 1st. So these are all going to be these are all going to be final 8-year contracts that we see. So 8 years, $11.5 million for Marty Necas. You like the contract?
The Avs had to do it. They couldn't afford to lose McKinnon's running mate.
Not after they lost his first running mate.
Yeah, and here's the thing. A lot of people will say, well, Necas at 11.5, it's only $500K less per year than Mikko Rantanen. But the question is, would Mikko Rantanen have actually signed a 12 flat in Colorado? Because you got to remember, Dallas is a no tax state. So I don't think it's as simple as, well, Colorado fumbled it because they could have had Rantanen at 12 instead of Necas at 11.5. Yeah. I imagine the number would have been higher if they would have wanted to keep him in Colorado. Necas is interesting because he's been the perfect regular season fit for the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, you look at his numbers this year, 7 goals in 11 games, 13 points. But even if you look at his numbers down the stretch with Colorado, he had 28 points in 30 games, and yet that was with McKinnon's line having a low on-ice shooting percentage. And they were just dummying teams as a duo. I'm talking controlling more than 60% of shots and expected goals. So in the regular season, you can actually make a case that Necas has been as valuable to the Avs as Rantanen was. But the big difference, and I think what really separates Rantanen and Necas, is that historical playoff track record. Necas, going back to his runs in Carolina, hasn't always been the most consistent playoff performer. 35 points in 66 career playoff games. And you compare that to Rantanen's track record. Rantanen's got 123 points in 99 career playoff games. And we saw last year the hat trick in game 7 to eliminate the Avalanche. He had the 22 points in 18 games for Dallas. He was their best forward in that playoff run. That's what Necas is going to have to prove on this next contract is, I think 11.5 for him it's a lot, but it's fair considering the trajectory of how star players are being paid in this league. And actually in doing some digging around it this morning, people think Necas would have gotten more on the open market. It's now, all right, can you deliver in the playoffs?
100%. 100%. Yeah, people are mixed reaction to it. And again, it's like you said, I agree with you. The whole reason they traded Rantanen is because he wasn't going to sign at a number even similar to that. Like, wasn't it rumored that they offered him 12 million and he said no, and then
Yeah,
he had to take it in Dallas? Like, didn't even want it at first in Dallas. Didn't want it at that number in Carolina, but then at some point has to realize that, okay, if no one is going to pay me this, I probably just need to accept what they're actually willing to pay me. And again, there's the no income tax state, all that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really see much of a negative reaction to this this signing at all. I
I
don't think.
ultimately wonder what and maybe we'll never know, but what would have been the number that would have gotten it over the line for the Colorado Avalanche? Because if it was, let's say, 13,
Yeah.
then I think if you're the Avs, you would still probably rather Rantanen at 13 than Nate just at 11 and a half, given the, all right, there are no playoff question marks with Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah, and the
Whereas there
track
still
record of
are
success there. Like, he's already done it in Colorado.
100%. So it's not to say that the Avs managed this situation perfectly, but we also don't have the full context of what if the demand was 14? And at that point, it becomes maybe a slightly different conversation, but just hilarious that the way the whole situation turned out. Because when the Avs traded Rantanen, the last thing they expected was we're going to play him in round one of the playoffs. They're thinking, oh, we've sent him to the Eastern Conference in Carolina. We're not going to have to worry about him. And then here come the Dallas Stars swooping in to sign Rantanen. And I think the Stars being able to afford to acquire Rantanen, and they also re-signed Thomas Harley to a long-term extension as well. I think we're in a world where teams that already have established high-end talent benefit from the skyrocketing cap. And teams like the Canucks that need more true impact players, more like borderline stars, it's going to become harder and harder, because if we were still in the flat cap era, there's probably no way that the Stars could afford to re-sign to acquire Rantanen. They would have been out of the sweepstakes, because they would have been looking at their long-term cap projections and going, well, Ottinger's expensive now. Johnson's extension is going to kick in. We got to re-sign Harley. We got to re-sign Robertson. There's just no way we can fit a Mikko Rantanen. But the Stars would have looked at the projected cap growth in the years to come and realized that they also benefit from it being staggered, in the sense that Harley's extension kicks in next year, right? When they acquired Rantanen, it was, all right, his extension kicks in this season as well. Without the cap skyrocketing, they couldn't afford to be in on the Rantanen sweepstakes. And, you know, the Panthers are another example where, because of the cap going up, they're able to keep everybody. It's reflective of, I think, fewer and fewer top players are going to hit free agency. And if you're a team that is reliant on external means to find core players, you're going to be a little bit hooped. Vancouver is going to be in a tough spot. I think the Rangers are another example of, hey, this has been a team that historically is a draw for big name free agents, right? It's how they landed Panarin. It's how they landed Adam Fox. They need an infusion of talent. And before the season started, there were a lot of rumblings that, all right, they plan to, because of Panarin's money coming off the books, to be in on the sweepstakes for Connor McDavid if he hits free agency. Kyle Connor, Jack Eichel, all these guys. Now a team like the Rangers, what are you going to do when who's the top pending UFA now? Nick Schmaltz?
Yeah.
It's thinning out really quickly. And I think this is going to have major consequences on the team building strategy that teams have to take.
I've got a couple updates I want to share. These are courtesy of Rick Dhaliwal. They're Canucks injury updates. Quinn Hughes out with a groin injury. So again, last year it was oblique. This is not related to last year. It's kind of what Adam Foote was insinuating. And groin injury, according to Dhaliwal, like Alvin said yesterday, could hop on a plane, go join in Minnesota or Nashville. We'll see about that. And then Connor Garland, Teddy Bluger. Dhaliwal said Connor Garland starting to feel like 1 week for Garland, and Bluger could be back next week. So some reinforcements hopefully coming soon for the Canucks. People are wondering where Stamkos chatter is coming from. Speaking of Rick Dhaliwal, he just mentioned on the show, he said, someone told me the Canucks are in on Stamkos. He also followed it up immediately and said, I'm working on confirming this and finding out more. We've already had the Stamkos conversation on this show. I was like, hey, maybe it'll happen. That's a big name. It's
desperation.
It's desperation.
Is what it
I'm
is.
I'm going to stop there. But it's a big name. This team likes its big names. And I don't mean management. But anyways, yeah, Stamkos doesn't make a lot of sense from an on-ice perspective.
No, he doesn't. He's 35 years old, 1 goal in 11 games. And the main thing is he's a one-shot scorer who doesn't drive play anymore. You know what this team has a lot of right now? Wingers that don't drive play. And sure, can Stamkos play center?
If Lucas Reichel can play center, so can Steven Stamkos.
Yeah, and he did it at times for Nashville last year. But at 35 years old, and after all those years of playing wing in Tampa, let's make no mistake about it. Steven Stamkos is at his best on the wing. With the money involved on his contract, this is just $8 million through the 2027-28 season. Canucks should absolutely steer clear of something like this. It's again, he's just not a play driver. He can finish, but this team needs players that can play with speed through the neutral zone, drive entries, that have the dynamic skill to get to the inside. And that's part of the reason why Stamkos hasn't thrived in Nashville is he hasn't had Kucherov to play with on the power play. He hasn't been surrounded by other star talent the way he was in Tampa Bay. And if you're asking Stamkos to do heavy lifting on his own, that's just not what he is at this stage in his career.
I'm not even gonna ask you. Stamkos 50% retained is not going to change your mind, is it?
Well, also, why would the Preds retain 50%?
Because they're getting a good prospect back.
Maybe, but he's
you
just
think
not
about it, really?
No, I'm saying maybe from the sense of I guess maybe the Preds would, for the right price, consider retaining 50%. But not for even then.
I thought you were coming around on Stamkos.
No. Because even then, like, why would you give up a good prospect for 35-year-old Steven Stamkos when I don't think he's the solution?
Dylan McDonald said Stamkos jerseys would sell for dang sure. Dylan McDonald also said, I heard Stamkos won't play for a team unless their arena seats all have cup holders, so don't worry, we're safe. Stop it.
I also wonder what protection he had. Full no move? Yeah. So,
hey, remember when he scored that hat trick in Vancouver in his 500th game? Or was it 500th goal, I think it was? Scores the hat trick. Remember? He got cheers from the Rogers Arena crowd, and he talked about how Vancouver's such a great city afterwards. There you go.
Let's hope for Vancouver's sake that he is very happy in Nashville and doesn't want to move.
All right. The cup holder clause in the contract. That's from Mark.
Let's hope he loves the no state tax in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. I heard he's a big Thomas Muller fan. You have to hope that Thomas Muller coming to Vancouver and speaking so glowingly about it is making people be like, oh, maybe I'll move there.
I genuinely don't even think that many hockey players would know who he is.
What? Muller? No, I think he's like I know who Thomas Muller is. I don't watch much soccer. If you've played FIFA, you know who Thomas Muller is.
I'm talking more like the North American guys.
Yeah,
like I genuinely
FIFA, I think they know who Thomas Muller is.
Maybe.
Like I know, I'm North American.
I would guarantee you every European player knows him though. Without question.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. All right. Anything else from either of you?
No, I think I'm good.
Let's get to our Bet365 bet of the day. No baseball tonight, unfortunately, but we got a full slate of NHL games. I'll be watching coast to coast. Ooh. What do we like tonight? You like the Red Wings over the Kings? I do. Taking Detroit Red Wings. Plus 125. Red Wings money line. They're on the road facing the Kings. The Kings are favorites at minus 150. Red Wings are flying high, man. I'm taking Red Wings. Plus 125. Give me that. That's what I'm taking. It's our bet of the day brought to you by Bet365. We're coming to you from the... Wait, what? Oh, I clicked the... sorry, I had the wrong thing. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get on the game. Use the code NATION at Bet365. Must be 90 plus play. If you choose to play, please play responsibly. Also, Kelly Canuck in the chat said, you think North American NHL players play FIFA? No chance. No, yeah, they do. Absolutely,
I don't know how many of them do, if I'm being honest.
FIFA, dude, everyone loves FIFA. I'm playing FIFA these days. I played it all the time growing up. Everybody plays FIFA. What are we
I
talking
do
about?
have some friends who don't like soccer at all that play
Yeah.
FIFA. So
Yeah, me
it's
too.
possible.
I'm one of them. I'm one of your friends that doesn't like soccer much. But I'm hopping on the Whitecaps bandwagon. Absolutely, I'm hopping on it for sure. I'm gonna go to a Whitecaps game. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll close it up there. Tomorrow's Halloween. We'll be in studio in costume. Do you want to tease what your costume is, Harm?
No, because I need to think about what exactly it is. I've got some ideas. I got a couple ideas kicking around. I'm not just gonna grab something from my closet and be like, oh,
Okay, good.
like I'm a basketball player. No. I've got some bits and pieces. It's just how I want to put everything together, and I got a couple different ideas. So
All right. Sweet. I'm not going to tease either of them. We'll show up in costume tomorrow. It'll be good. All right. For my co-host Harmon Dial, our technical producer Jacob Lazar, my name is Jacob Jelly. Thanks so much for the episode of Canucks Conversation. Canucks Conversation is live Monday through Friday, every weekday at 2 p.m. over on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and interact in the YouTube live chat every day with us, folks.